10th chapter. So today we are discussing 10th chapter of Prajnapana Sutra, and the title of this particular chapter is Charam Acharam Pad. So Charam means last or ending, or Acharam means the middle. So it means that everything is having particular shape or structure. So when something is having some shape, then it must have some ending parts and also some middle parts. So in the whole chapter is this based on this discussion that which part is the ending one, which part is the middle one, and the ending is made of how many atoms, if it is physical entity, or if something is living entity, then also the living beings are also having some physical body, so they have also some certain type of shapes of their body. So that is also discussed in this particular chapter. So you can see here, I have given one structure of atom according to modern science. You will see that the whole atom is constituted of some subatomic particles. And among the subatomic particles, it is said that the atom is constructed of these three types of subparticles, which are known as neutron, positron, and also electron. So electrons are what we say roaming inside the atom, in the periphery of the atom, and in the center you will find the neutron and positron. So this is the middle structure of the atom, and this is the ending structure of the atom. So this kind of discussion we will find here. Just we can see here that the universe is also a kind of structure, and this structure is also looking in a very different shape. So what type of shape the universe is having, and also there is supra-universe or trans-universe or trans-cosmos, which is around the cosmos. So we can see that what kind of structures of cosmos and trans-cosmos has been discussed in this particular chapter. So we find that the universe is looking like this shape, and in this shape you find that the universe is looking having some kind of a zigzag type of structures in the end. So all these ending parts are uneven. They are not even in even shape, or in circular shape or very smooth shape. You can see here, these ending parts are known as the charam of the cosmos. They are the ending parts. In that sense, they are charam. And these structures are looking very different. And you can find here that these are the corners. So wherever there are some corners, you will find such kind of a structure. And these corners are known as nishkut of the cosmos. So these are the corners where sometimes we discuss about the time of taking birth of any living being. And we know that the living being can take one moment to take new birth, or it may take 2 moments or 3 moments or 4 moments. So maximum 4 moments are discussed that any living being who is passing away from the old life and going to new life, then he may reach in maximum in 4 moments. But if some living being is taking birth in these corners, which are known as niskuts, then they can take more than 4 moments to reach out these places, which are found in nishkuts, in the corners of the universe. So you can see here that this is the structure of the universe. And though we find that a universe is shown by the in scientific books or in the science books, in the shape of a spherical, or like having so many planets and such kind of very huge structure. But science doesn't know that what is the ending structure of the universe, how it looks like in the end. So nobody can see easily the ending of the universe, but Jain scriptures have discussed about it, that in the end the universe looks like the zigzag structure, and that's why it is there are so many corners which you can see coming out of this structure. Similarly, after this cosmos, the transcosmos, or you can say supracosmos, starts, and that supracosmos is starting from the ending of the cosmos, and that's why these are the nishkut, so you can say, or zigzag type of shapes of the transcosmos also. So these structures are shown here, that the universe is also having so many endings, or you can say such kind of shapes in the end. And the supra universe starts with all these different ends, or nishkuts, you can say, or curvature type of structures. So these are the different many structures which are found in the end of this cosmos, and also transcosmos. So these shapes are discussed as the ending part of the universe, or beginning part of the supra universe. Supra universe is shown as endless. So it is endless, so we cannot say anything about the ending parts. But yes, the supra universe starts from the end of the cosmos, and that's why the structure of the supra universe can be shown through this structure of the cosmos. So these are the different endings or beginning of beginning part of transcosmos and cosmos. So these are the different endings which have been shown here. Now we would see that any object which is visible to our senses, they look like very big structures, but the big structure is not coming into existence from very beginning. It is coming from some small parts, and those small parts are again constituted of some smaller parts, and those smaller parts are constituted by the small parts, which are known as atom today in the language of science, which is also divisible. And this atom is constituted by some subparticles, which are known as neutron, positron, or electron. And nowadays it is said that these subparticles are also constituted of some subparticles which are last ones, and they are known as quarks. So you can see here the neutron, positron, electron, they are also constituted of at least minimum three quarks. And today, quark is considered as the indivisible unit of an object. So now we would see that what is said about the indivisible part or unit of the of any structure in Jainism, especially in context of the physical entity. So we see that there are 26 types of possibilities of different structures have been discussed in this particular chapter. But so far as the structure of Paramanu, or you can say the last indivisible unit of an atom, is shown that it is without any dimensions. It means it has no end, no middle, and no structure or no dimension. So it is a dimensionless entity. So we cannot define that what is the ending part of atom or what is the middle part of the atom. It has no ending and no middle. So it is completely a dimensionless entity which cannot be easily explained through some particular shapes or structure. Now we would see that what kind of 26 types of structures have been shown in this particular chapter. So in the following charts, we would see that there are 26 types of permutations and combinations of different structures of physical and non-physical entities. So among them, the Parmanu is already discussed that it has no structure, it has no ending, no middle, it is completely dimensionless. But other aggregates which are constituted of 2 atoms or 3 atoms or infinite number of atoms, so they may have many different endings or also middle part. So you can see here that if there is the aggregate of 3 atoms or 2 atoms, then it is very difficult to say that there is some middle part. If you see the 8 and the structure which is made of, or the object which is made of 2 atoms only, then both the atoms would be ending of each other, because they are 2 only. There is no other, no third one which is the middle part. So here both are having ending, both are ending for each other. So this kind of structure is shown in the aggregate of which is consisting of 2 atoms. If there is the aggregate of 3 Parmanus, then there can be one Parmanu in the end and the 1 Parmanu in the middle. So in this way, the structure is shown that there is only 1 middle and 2 ending. So in the object which is consisting of 3 atoms, then we find 2 endings and 1 middle part, because in both the sides we find endings and there is only 1 atom in between. Now we can see that similarly the end and middle structures of all other aggregates consisting of 4 to infinite Parmanus depend on the numbers of Parmanus and the special positions of the aggregates. So the structures are indicated in the following charts. So we would see that if the object is consisting of 4 atoms or 5 atoms or 6 atoms or infinite number of atoms, so there can be so many atoms which can be said as the ending, and so many atoms which can be said as middle part of that structure. So it depends on the position in the space also, and also the structure of those objects. So now we would try to understand what is being said here. So you can see here that if there is one structure which is made of 2 atoms, then both are endings for each other. They have no middle part. So ekach patarma ek akash pradesh upar sthit. So they are situated or located in 2 space points. If they suppose they are found in 1 space point, then it would be difficult to say that which is ending and which is both looks of the same shape, or they are found in 1 space point. So we cannot say that it is they are having endings of each other. So here, just if they are located in 2 space points, then you can easily indicate that this is the ending for this atom and this is ending for this atom. Now we would see that if they are located in 1 space point, then they look like 1 atom. So ek akash pradesh. So they cannot be shown that they are having some endings, because they are located in 1 space point and they are mixed with each other in the way that they look like 1 only. Now we would see that there is one structure which is made of 5 atoms, and you can see here that in this particular structure there are 4 endings and 1 part is middle. Similarly, if some object is having 6 atoms, and you can see here that 4 are the endings and 2 are middle part. And Anik Charam, so you can see here, if the object is made of 3 atoms, then there are 2 atoms which can be shown as the endings, and the middle one is called as a middle atom. If the structure is this kind of is having this kind of a structure in which it is consisting of 4 atoms and also located in 4 space points, then you can say that, okay, these 2 atoms are ending parts and 2 are middle. And if this structure is having 3 atoms, but they are located in 2 space lines, okay, upper and lower. 2 atoms are located here and 1 atom is located here. So you can see here that they are having, in the sense, they are not having any middle part, because all are ending in some directions. So here you can see this structure also. And here also there are 4 atoms, and they are located in 3 space lines. One is upper, other 2 are in the middle line, and the third one is in the 8. So here it is difficult to say that which is in the middle. All are in the 8. If the structure is having 5 atoms, then they are also looking that they all are ending in some or other directions. Similarly, the structure is like this kind of structure, which is having 6 atoms, then they are also having endings only, and it is very difficult to say that they are having some middle atoms or middle part. So it depends that what kind of a positions these different structures are taking in the space. If they are located in one space point, this object may be consisting of infinite number of atoms. But if it is located in one space point, then the structure can be explained in the way that it is only one and having no other middle, having no middle part or having no other ending parts. So it depends on their position in the space. Here you can see that there is one charam, ek acharam, and anek acharam. So you can see that if there is some a structure which is having 5 atoms, and one atom is separate and the other one is separate, then you can say that this is ending, this is also ending, these 4 are also ending, only one is in the middle. So these different structures are also here. You can see that if the object is made of almost 7 atoms, but one atom is separate from it, then you can see that, okay, these 2 atoms are in the middle and the other ones are in the 8. Similarly, here you can see these different structures. So we have to see that this is only the middle part. Otherwise, this is only the middle part. Other ones are having some kind of endings in some directions. So these different types of permutations and combinations have been shown that different structures are having different position, and we cannot say that which part is ending and which part is in the middle. It depends on their position. Now we can see here that the same thing have been discussed here in the some way, that what kind of structures things are having. And if it is Parmanu, then we can say that we cannot explain it, that it is having any kind of end or middle part. Other things can be shown here, that if it is the object which is having 2 atoms in it, then it may be said that it is having one charam, though both are both the atoms are located one after another, and one is charam for this and the other one is charam for this. In that way, it is said that there is one charam only and there is no acharam. Similarly, in the object of 3 atoms, 4 atoms, 5 atoms, 6 atoms, and 7 atoms, or 8 to infinite atoms. So they are having different options, that how many charams or ending parts they are having and how many atoms they are having in the middle part of those things. So these all different structures which have been explained and shown by pictures. Now we are coming to the different type of shapes. They are also consisting of so many atoms or parmanus, you can say. But what kind of structures the object is having depends, their charam or their ending or middle part depend on their particular structure. So according to Jainism, there are 5 types of structures which can be defined, and everybody knows about that. So what are the 5 structures or shapes? We can say that there are 5 types of shapes. One is called parimandal, that is the circular. So you can see here, this is the circular shape, in which you find that it is having circular shape and hollow from within in the center. So it looks like the bangle or star like, in which we don't find something in center, but only in the circumference we find such kind of a structure. Next is vritta. Vritta means spherical shape. So all the different balls or structure of the planets, they look like the spherical. Truss means the structure which is having 3 corners. So this is truss, which we say tribhuj or triangular. So that shape is also very common and very clear to all of us. And next is there is some square. So this is square shapes. So many things are found in this particular shape. So many things are found in this shape. Some things are found in this shape and some are found in this shape. And the last one is ayat. So here rectangular shape. So these 5 types of shapes which can be easily defined or very clear. But there are certain things which are not having particular shape, or the shapes of those things cannot be defined in a clear language, that what kind of shape they are having. So they are known as anithanst shapes. Here, those shapes which can be easily defined, they are known as ithanst shape, and those which cannot be defined, they are known as anithanst shapes. So for like clouds are having different shapes. Nobody can define that what kind of shape they are having. So just we can say that it is the shape of the cloud. But the particular name which have been given to these structures cannot be given to the cloud. So there are different types of shapes, and they are also consisting of some atoms. And depending on the arrangement of the atoms of their structure, we can say that which atoms are ending in the end of that structure and which atoms are in the middle of the structure. So these kind of discussions have been also discussed, that the objects are having different shapes, and they are also having middle and the ending parts in that particular structure. Now we are coming, so here it is shown that in the structure, we find these 5 types of structures which we have discussed as the defined shapes or defined structures. We see that these structures can also be accommodated in one space point or in some numerable space points or innumerable space points. So now we have to see that these all different types of objects which are consisting of some atoms or smaller parts, they all are found in this limited cosmos. They are not found in unlimited or infinite transcosmos. Transcosmos is completely bereft of any other objects than space itself. Okay, so we can see that those is the objects which are consisting of 2 to infinite number of atoms. What can be their physical their position in the space? So in this particular chart, it is said that if the structure is made of 2 atoms or infinite number of atoms, but if it is existing in innumerable space points, then they are having some limited what we say shape, or their shape is confined to those space points only. And such kind of objects are found very limited in the space. And now we see that those objects which are consisting of innumerable space points, innumerable atoms, they can also take a place, or they can also locate themselves into innumerable space points, and they can also spread themselves in innumerable space points of the cosmos. So such kind of structures or objects, they are also found in the universe, and they are also limited. Now we see that Asankhya Pradeshians, Asankhya Pradeshavar. So the structure which is having innumerable atoms in it, but if it is existing in innumerable space points may be one space point, it may be thousands or some more number of space points. So that kind of, if they are locating in one space point only, then they have no acharam. It means that they have no middle part. They are just having ending. And here, if the same structure, which is consisting of innumerable points, atoms, you can say, and if it is spread throughout the innumerable space points of the cosmos, then they can be said that they are having some kind of what we say, ek acharam. Okay, they are they are also limited, but instead of that, they may have some middle part and also the ending parts. Now we would see that there are some objects which are consisting of infinite number of atoms. They can also be located in one space point or innumerable space points. They can also take innumerable space points to locate themselves. But they cannot spread in an infinite number of space points, because the transcosmos is having only the innumerable space points and not infinite number of space points. And therefore, these objects should accommodate themselves in those innumerable space points only, though they may be consisting of innumerable atoms. Now we would see that there are maybe some structures which are accommodated in some more number of space points than they, and having some more atoms than one or two, then they may have many middle atoms, which can be shown that they are having so many number of middle atoms, or so many atoms which are in the aid of that particular structure. And here you can see such kind of objects are also found in innumerable times more, in comparison to those structures which are not having the middle part. And if the object is consisting of innumerable atoms, and they can spread in some space points, and they can also have so many middle part or middle atoms which can be discussed, and those such kind of objects are also numerable times more than those who are which are not having any kind of middle structure. Here you can see that there are certain objects which are consisting of innumerable atoms, and they are also innumerable times more in comparison to other objects, and they may have also is many such kind of atoms which come under the middle part of that particular structure, and some atoms which are coming in the aid of that particular structure. So in this way, Dravyati Anantaguna Kshatrati Sankhya Guna. So here we can see that there are certain objects which are consisting of infinite number of atoms, but so far as the space is concerned, they can be found in limited space, and they can also be found in innumerable space points. So it depends on their position that they are taking innumerable space or numerable space. So such kind of structures may be found, and they are also infinite times greater in number in comparison to these other structures. Now we could see that charam, acharam, sammilit. So there can be some of structures which are having endings and also middle part. They can be more in comparison to other whatever we have discussed. So here it is said there are Charmanta Pradesh, Acharmanta Pradesh, and Charmanta Acharmanta Pradesh. It means in the end of the structure, any structure, whether we are talking about the structure of the universe or we are talking about the structure of any object, if there are many atoms which are coming in the end, in the last, so they can be shown that, okay, they are not having just one or two atoms which are in the end, but there are so many other atoms which are coming in the end of this particular structure. So in this way, it is said that there are different shapes of the objects which are having different number of atoms in the end or in the middle. Now it is said that so far as the living beings are concerned, how we can discuss about charam and acharam in the case of the living beings. So first we have to understand that all living beings are undergoing 5 types of states of their, we can say, the inner states of their consciousness. So the first state is called Odaik. It means because of the rising of the karma, the living beings are getting so many physical structures or physical qualities in them, and also some psychological qualities in them. So these all states which are known as physical and psychological or emotional states, they are because of the rising of different karmas. So in that condition, we will see that what has been discussed here. And now second is apashamik. Apashamik means all the times the karmas are not rising, or it is not necessary that all the karmas in rising state. Sometimes they are in suppressed state. Okay, so they are, it means that they are not working or they are not affecting our consciousness for the time being. So that state comes in our life also. So that opshamic state, which is called a subsided state or suppressed state, in which the karmas are not active, they are not affecting our inner self. So that state is also a kind of a state of our consciousness. The next state is known as Kshayapashmik. In this particular state, there is partial subsidence and partial destruction of the rising karma. So because of that, also we develop so many qualities in us. So it is because of the destruction of karma or subsidence of karma, we get some purity in us and we develop some kind of qualities in us. So those qualities have been discussed in the form of 4 types of knowledges: sensory knowledge, articulate knowledge, clairvoyance, and telepathy. So these type of knowledges are emerging in us because of the subsidence come destruction of the Jnanavarni karma, Darshanavarni karma, Mohani, and Aishya karma. Mohini and Antarai karma. So these Kshapashmik qualities are also found in the living beings. Next is Kshaik. Kshaik means when we get perfection in our knowledge, that is the Kshaik state of our knowledge, or when we develop the Siddha state, in which we give up all the physical bodies, karmic bondages, and worldly relations, and come out of the circle of birth and death. So that state is achieved because of the ending of all the 8 types of karmas. But remaining as a human being, we can also destroy 4 karmas, which are known as 4 destructive karmas. So due to destruction of the total destruction of the karmas, we achieve some higher states of our consciousness. Those states are known as kshaik states. Okay, so in that state we get omniscience or enlightenment, and also liberation. Now we would see that the 5th stage of the living being is parinamic. It means there are certain qualities which are not affected by the karmas. They are natural and available to all different living beings depending on their nature or destiny. So we can see that suppose, for example, we are living beings. So why we are living beings? It is our own nature. It is the nature of the conscious soul that it is living. And the matter is non-living. Why it is non-living? So there is no question of why. It is the nature of the non-living elements that they are devoid of consciousness. So these are the parinamic stages. They are not created by some karmas or by some god or whatever power somebody can say. They are not created by these kind of supreme power or any almighty or by any karmas, but they are natural and innate state. So we are living beings and other things are non-living. It is because of their nature. So this parinamic bhav is belonging especially or pertaining to our inner or natural states which are not affected by the karmas. They are given. They are the fundamental nature of the things. Among the 5, so now we would see here that when we are talking about the charam and acharam, so we have to see that which states get and or which states do not get end. So Audaik and Apashamic and Kshapashamic, these are the 3 states of our consciousness which can end on some day. Depending that if we are liberating, then we will come out of the physical conditions, all types of physical relations and physical conditions. If we are ending the karmas totally, then there is no such kind of separation of the any kind of emotions in us, but it is completely eliminated. And Kshapashmik state, in this state, we are not perfect, but yes, we have some qualities and we are losing some qualities. So that state is also gone when we liberate. Okay, so these 3 states, they can end in the case of some living beings who are liberating or who have destroyed particular karmas, and that's why they are free from the effect of those karmas. But kshaik and parinamic, these 2 stages, they are eternal, and they are always with some living beings, not with all living beings. Those who are liberated, actually, they attain omniscience. They attain the perfect state of their consciousness. They become free from the karmic bondages and physical relations. So they come out from the circle of birth and death forever. So that state remains all the times after achieving once. Okay, it never ends. So those people who say that the God is incarnating again as a human being, Jainism doesn't believe that. Once you have destroyed your karmas, you would not come back to the physical form, because physical form is always somehow caused by some karmic baggages. And if you have eliminated the karmic baggages forever, then you cannot return back to the any physical form in any condition. Parinamic bhav, as we know that there are certain living beings who are having eligibility for liberation, those who are not having eligibility for liberation. So these kind of states of any living being are not caused by some karmas, but it is their destiny that some are eligible for liberation and some are not eligible for liberation. So these bhavyatva and abhavyatva, these stages are not caused by some karmas. Okay, any bad karmas, or they have done something bad and that's why they are not eligible to liberate. It is not the case. Okay, it is because of their own destiny, their own innate state, which is given or gifted to them, and that's why they are not eligible to liberate, or they are eligible to liberate. Okay. So parinamic stages are not affected by any karmas, but they are given or gifted or innate or natural, you can say, and they are always there with any living being. So, and similarly, we are soul or something is non-soul or non-living. It is also natural. It is also innate. It is the fundamental nature of that particular entity, and it is not depending on any kind of karmas or any bad actions. Okay, so here it is in the scripture, it is said that these two stages are always there with the living beings, ones who attain such kind of a kshayic state, or parinamic state is always common to all living beings. They never eliminate, they never end, but these stages can get end if somebody is liberating, if somebody is continuing in this world and taking birth again and again, then he may also have all the four, at least four states all the times. Okay. So here in this case of living beings also, it is said that what is end and what doesn't end. Now here I have shown the examples of all the five states of our consciousness, or you can say our soul. For example, the first we have discussed about Udayic state. Udayic state means the state which is caused by the rising of the karmas. And what happens because of the rising of the karma? Either we get some physical qualities. So you can see these are the physical shapes, different shapes of living beings. They are because of the rising of their nam karma and other karmas. Okay, so these structures, they have physical structures they have got, it is due to rising of the karmas, their karmas. Okay, whether humans are having particular structure, human structure, or body, so these are because of the rising of the karmas. Similarly, if we are facing some emotional turmoils or such kind of mental states in which there are so many ups and downs or turmoils or unrest, all these because of some karmas. Okay, and maybe because of ill health, because of some other circumstances, we can get angry. But yes, whenever we are getting angry because of the rising of some diluting karma, which is anger producing diluting karma. Okay, so these emotional states and physical states are mainly caused by the rising of the karmas. But somebody can end these kind of emotional and physical changes or states if he is looking for liberation and making genuine effort for that. Now we would see that Kshapasham. So what is Kshapasham? It means the partial subsidence and partial elimination of the karmas. So there are certain karmas which cannot be completely, subsided, or till we are living or we are not liberating, we have to continue ourselves in some or other physical form. But there are certain karmas which can be eliminated, which can be subsided, and especially four type of destructive karmas, they can be partially eliminated and partially subsided. So when we partially eliminate and partially subside, then we get some development in us, and due to that, we get different types of knowledges, different type of qualities in us. And you can see here that all living beings are having some kind of brain, especially the five sense living beings who are taking birth from their parents. So they all are having different type of brains, okay, but their brains are working in a very different manner. It is because of the kshopasham. It means that the subsidence and destruction of their karmas in various degrees. So they are having different types of mindset, or different type of understanding, different type of action and reaction of things, or different level of knowledges. So these differences in our knowledge or mental development or emotional stability, it is because of the different ways or different degrees of the subsidence and destruction of the karmas. We all are not subsiding and destroying our karmas in the same manner or in the same degree, and that's why we have so many differences among ourselves. So these differences are known as kshapashmik states. It means the states of our inner self due to the partial subsidence and partial destruction of the karmas, and especially four types of karmas. Now we would see that I was talking about the opshamic state, which is also a state of our mind, or we can say our consciousness or our inner self. In that state, we subside, especially the deluding karma, for the time being. It means whenever we go into meditation, whenever we practice any religious or spiritual things, in those moments, at least we are able to control our negative emotions or negative reactions, etc. So for the time being, we feel that, oh, I am in a very peace, I am in very calm and cool state. But as soon as we come out of that state, and if we find some circumstances which are not favorable or not good, we at once start reacting. So this opshamic state can come for the time being whenever you are meditating, whenever you are chanting some mantras, whenever you are reading some good things, or doing some kind of resolutions that I will not be angry upon any bad words or misbehavior by anyone. Then we can control our emotions for the time being, and we feel complete peace and rest in our mind. But if we have not completely eliminated, we have not come out of the effect of those particular negative emotions, then we can get again angry if the situation comes before us. So this opsamic state is only for the time being, and not for it is not permanent. It can end after a certain time, whenever you come out of meditation or whenever you come out of some peaceful situation. So this opshamic state can get end. It is not permanent. But it is also good if somebody is not able to eliminate the negative emotions completely. At least if he's controlling for the time being or meditating for the time being, that is also very good. But that stage is only for the time being and not for all the times. Now we would see that kshayic state. Kshayic state is permanent state. Once it comes to living being, it never goes. So for example, the perfect knowledge, which we say omniscience. So omniscience is obtained only after destruction of the four destructive karmas. So when you destroy any karma completely, then you come out of the adverse effect of that karma, and you get whatever quality is developed in you, that remains forever. Okay, so here if somebody destroy all the 4 destructive karmas, the knowledge covering karma, the intuition covering karma, and the deluding karma, and the obstacle creating karma, then one can get this kshayik state, which is known as perfect knowledge or omniscience or divine knowledge, you can say, or complete knowledge. So that after coming this knowledge, once, it never goes. It remains all the times in the living being. And that's why all the liberated souls are endowed with infinite knowledge or this kind of perfect knowledge. They never come out of that state. They always remain in that state. Now the last one which we have to understand, that is the parinamic bhav. It is very natural and very innate, and it is given or gifted, or you can say fundamental nature of things, which cannot be changed, which cannot be eliminated, or which are not caused by any subsidence or destruction of karmas, but they are natural. So, for example, we are living beings, and there are certain things in the world which are non-living. So they will always be non-living, and living would always be living. There would be no point of time when living will convert into non-living or non-living will convert into living. Though there are so many things are going on in the name of artificial intelligence, and people are thinking that, okay, the non-living objects are also reacting like the living, but after all, they are the devices of artificial intelligence, which has been programmed by some human being. They themselves have not developed that kind of intelligence. So those things would always be non-living. They would be governed by some human consciousness or some human being, and not by themselves. So they are non-living. Since they are non-living, they can be programmed in the way that they may look like human beings or living beings, but it is not necessary that they are converted into living entities. So living is always living, non-living is always non-living, and in all the 3 times, whether it is past, present, or future, they would always be living and non-living, and not any other thing. Okay, so you can see that this stage shows that these to be living or to be non-living or to be eligible for liberation or not to be eligible for liberation, all these stages or states are fundamental, innate, natural, without any effect of karmas. Okay. Now we would see that there are certain things which have been discussed in this particular chapter from the point of view of charam and acharam. It means ending and non-ending. So it is very different discussion than what we have discussed in the context of the physical entities, which are made of some atoms. You can see that living beings are also having endings and non-endings, or you can say middle or non-ending state. But from we have to understand from different angles. First of all, we know that all living beings are taking some form of life. Okay, and that form of life is not permanent. Whether we are as a human beings, we are in the form of human life form, and there are certain living beings who are having different forms of life, but all these forms are not permanent. They can end sometime. But when we discuss this kind of gati, or you can say forms of life, from the point of view of charam and acharam, especially in this particular chapter, then it is said that it may be that we are returning, we may return back to human life after death, or it is not necessary that we would return to this form of life again in future. So if suppose some living beings who are dying and they are coming back to that particular form again, then that particular form for them is not the end, but it may be repeated again and again. But those living beings who are getting liberation, especially, So they will not come back to this human form again. So from their point of view, we can say that this human form is the last life for them, or last form of life, and they will not come back to this life again. So it depends on the living beings whether they are liberating, whether they are in this world for forever. If they are living in this world, they may take birth in different forms of life, but those forms may be last form, or those forms may not be last form for them. They can repeat again and again in those states or those forms of life. So that happens, and it is said that if we keep all the living beings in view, then we can find that both types of living beings are always found in this universe. That the particular form of life they are taking once, but it is not necessary that they are taking just once, but they may repeat many times in that form of life. So that form of life may be unending for that particular living being. And if he is not returning back to that form of life, then it may be the last life for them, last form of life for them. The sthiti, similarly, lifespan. We are having lifespan as of human being, and our lifespan is very limited. But some other living beings, for example, deities or hellish beings, they are having very long lifespan. Suppose somebody who is dying in particular form of life, and he was having particular lifespan in remaining in that form of life, and if he's not getting that kind of lifespan again in future, though he may take birth in the same form of life, but it is not necessary that he will get the same lifespan. It means if he had the lifespan of 10,000 years, it is not necessary that when he will take birth again in the hell or heavens, then he may have the same kind of lifespan of 10,000 years. He may have more or less. So if somebody is taking the same kind of lifespan again and again in going to that particular form of life, then it is unending for him or for them. And if somebody is not getting the same lifespan going to that particular form of life, then it is ending for them. Okay. Now, similarly, we are taking birth in various forms, and that form may be repeated again, or that form may not be repeated again. Okay, so taking birth is not necessary. Those who are liberating, they will not take again birth in any form, and those who are living in this world, they may take birth again and again. So it depends on the living beings whether they are liberating, whether they are living this worldly life for some years or for some time. Similarly, the language. Okay, we are human beings. We speak in particular language. Similarly, other living beings are also speaking in their languages. Okay, but if they are living in that particular form of life, and they are getting a certain kind of language in remaining there, and if they are not going back to the same form of life after death, then the language which is known to them remaining in that particular form of life will not be there again when they will take birth in some other form of life, or when they will not return back to that form of life. So language can also be ending or unending to some living beings. Swasochwas, it means the breathing. So breathing has it in the scriptures. So breathing is given very much importance to understand the life. And it is said that all living beings are having breathing, but all are having different types of breathing. So the deities are taking breath very after a very long time. And the hellish beings are taking breathe very speedily, and the humans and animals are having breathing with what we say, with different times. So we can see that they are taking uneven breathing. We cannot fix any time for the humans breathe or for the animals breathe. It depends on their situations or circumstances. So it is said that if suppose I'm a human being and I'm breathing in my own way or as a human being, but the breathing process may be same if I'm coming back to the human life, and if I'm not coming back to the human life and going to other forms of life, then this breathing process would not be always with me. And that's why breathing is also having ending and unending state with the living beings. Okay. And ahar, food. So I am taking food, humans are taking food, animals are taking food, other living beings are also taking food, but their food system is different. Their food and their process of taking food is different, or the nature of food is also very different. So it depends that if we are repeating in the same state or same form of life, then we would have same kind of habit of taking food or same kind of things we are taking as a food. But if we are not repeating to that states or that forms of life which we have already left in our past lives, then we might have no that kind of habit of taking food. Similarly, bhav. So we have already discussed about the 5 states of our consciousness, that how we are undergoing these 5 states of our consciousness because of the rising of the karma or effect of the karmas or destruction or subsidence of the karmas. Or sometimes those states are natural, innate, given, or gifted, or fundamental to us. And next is Varna, Gandha, Rasa, and Sparsh. It means all the physical qualities which we are having. Suppose I am having red color or white color or black color. If I am repeating back to human form, it is not necessary that I would have the same kind of color or same kind of a smell of body, same kind of taste or same kind of touch, but they may differ or they may be same. So it depends on my situations in which I'm taking birth, or it depends on my karmas, what kind of karmas I have earned. Because of that, I get all these qualities, physical qualities in me. So all these are different states. So we can see here that endings and unendings are in the case of different living beings are discussed from very different angles than what is discussed in the case of the physical entities. So with this, I have finished my talk. If somebody has any question, they can ask. Might be some things are clear, some things are not clear. They can ask questions, so I can see that how I can help.
Vandami?
Yes.
Innumerable, infinite, and numerable. It's very confusing. What is the entity of the endless, which is infinite? And then numbers is innumerable.
Okay, so there are two angles to discuss these: innumerable, numerable, and infinite. Okay.
Okay.
Suppose if the entity is consisting of 1 atom, 2 atom, 1,000, or 6, or under the digit which are available and which are known to us. Okay, so then it comes under the numerable. The entity consisting of numerable atoms. Okay. Or units, you can say. And if it is having more than the number which we are having as digit and which are known to us, then it is known as innumerable. Okay. But if it is beyond the innumerable, then it is known as infinite. Okay. So that is one angle. Second is that if things are, maybe that one object is consisting of infinite number of atoms or innumerable number of atoms, instead of that, if it is existing in one space point, if it is locating in one space point, then it is also known as a numerable. Okay.
Okay.
from position, from the point of view of a position. So it may be infinite number of atoms in one entity, but instead of that, it is found in one space point only.
Okay.
There may be atom also which are found in the same space point, and they are also in one space point, because atom cannot expand more than one space point, okay? Because it is having only just one unit. And the entity which is having infinite number of atoms in it, that can also accommodate itself into one space point.
Oh.
Okay? Because it can contract itself to such tiny state, which is like the atom, and can accommodate itself into one space point. So it is said that in all the space points, you will find innumerable atoms are located in one space point. There are innumerable or infinite number of aggregates which are consisting of 2 to infinite number of atoms. They are also found in the same space. It means a space has so much capacity to accommodate so much matter in it, and matter can reduce itself into the size of the atom. Though it may be consisting of infinite number of atoms, it can accommodate itself into the same space point which is taken by an atom. So there is so much matter which is found in the space, and that matter nowadays, the scientists are saying that that is known as a dark matter, which is unimaginable. That much matter is found, and they cannot see that matter actually, but they are expecting that there is so much matter which is unknown to us and found in space.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other thing? Oh, I think all all can unmute. Okay, is it? I'm unmuting. Okay, if it is not mute, unmute. Now, yes, Changadi, you can ask.
Vandami,
Yes,
Vandami Samaniji.
yes, yes,
This Param Parinamik Bhav.
yes.
Because I am also Jeev, the third party also Jeev. So it identifies as Jeev, or it's a quality of Jeev. There may be all are equal only, all are Jeev only.
Yes.
But some Jeev is specially for devoted spiritual living being. Some being is not spiritual living being. Some Jeev is for Mithya Drishti. So Param Parinamik, which is identified, it is generally living being or special type of spiritually oriented living.
It is general. It is general. All are living beings. If we are spiritually growing, or we are practicing some spirituality or some religion, that is that comes under the Kshapashmik Bhav or Kshayik Bhav. Okay, it is because of this partial submission, subsidence, and partial elimination of diluting karma. Because of that, you are having such faith in religion or in truth. So that depends on your Kshapashmik Bhav. But this parinamic bhav is bereft of any karmic effect. Okay, it is common to all living beings. So all are living beings. That is the concern of this parinamic bhav.
Okay, Damaniji. That Sayik is karmic impact will be there.
In Kshayik bhav, you are not having karmic effect. You have eliminated the karmas, all the karmas, and because of that, you have developed your own inner qualities or inner potentials to fullest form. Okay.
Yes, but
So that is because of the destruction of the karmas, and not because of the rising of the karmas or partial subsidence or partial elimination of the karmas.
In compare with Parinamic Bhav,
Yes.
Sayik is karmic effect. It's involved in karmic effect in the beginning, and at the end, it's anyway it's involved karmic. But Parinamic is not like.
I couldn't get your point actually.
No.
Huh. Let me know again what you want to know.
Is karmic effect is it involved in karmic effect, right?
Karmic effect is
It involved in karmic maybe distraction.
parinamic bhav, you say.
Parinamic, okay, you said there is no any karmic impact. It's
Yes,
in general.
yes, it
I
is.
agree. I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
But
it is done.
Saik, for example,
Huh.
eight karma distracted by Siddha Bhagavan is
Yes,
already distracted. There is no again karma in back.
yes,
So it still is having Saik.
yes,
Saik bhav.
yes. Siddhas are having two bhav. One is kshaik and other one is parinamic. They
Correct.
are
Parinamic.
they are
Parinamic
always
as
they are always living, no? Living entity. They remain always
correct.
living and as living entity, and they have their own natural whatever qualities they are. But
But
those qualities which have developed due to the destruction of the karmas, because of that, they are having shaik bhav.
There is one Kunda Pravachan sir, madam. It is
Yes.
written that only parinamic bhav is the lakshan of jeev.
Uh, okay. See, some authors they write something from their angle, but if we
It's
see that yeah, if somebody if he takes omniscience or keval gyan, or you can say perfect knowledge as innate, then it's okay. But why all the living beings are have not got that kind of omniscience? Okay. So we have to take it in the sense that it is a kshaik bhav. All the jivas have not eliminated yet the karmas, and that's why they are not able to attain this kind of perfect knowledge. And those who eliminate the karmas, they can only obtain this kind of state. Okay. So it is considered the kshaik bhav. So siddhas have eliminated all different types of karmas, and that's why they have come out of a circle of birth and death, and also all kinds of incompleteness of knowledge and everything.
But at any point of time, all five bhavas will be there in Uday or limited.
See, Kshapashmik and what we say Kshai, these two stages are not all the times, but yes, Odaik, Odaik and what we say Kshapashmik and Parinamik, especially. These three bhavas are always with the living beings who are especially worldly living beings, okay? And if you have liberated or you are liberated, then you have only two bhavas, which are Shaik and Parinamic, okay?
Okay.
Yes. Okay, sorry, Chandani, you can ask.
My question is, we use this word charam, shariri, charam, bhav. So we learned about this charam and acharam first, and then we went to the bhav. So somehow I do not see the connection. Can you please explain how the charam, acharam is related to the bhavs we did today?
Okay. So Charam Shariri, it means this is the last birth of someone. Okay.
Okay.
It means in this very life, he is going to liberate. He will not come back to any form of life.
Fine.
So that is Charam Shariri. Means this body is last, and he will never get again this body. Okay.
Okay.
So that is called a Charam Shariri. Charam Bhav means those bhavas, they will end on some day. So for example, if we are liberating, then automatically we will come out of the effect of the karmas. Okay.
Yes.
And because of that, whatever physical conditions we are getting in this worldly life, we will not get. Okay.
Yes.
So that will be the end of that Odaika Bhava. Apashamic bhav will also end because it works only when we are having some more deluding karma. Mohani karma.
Yes.
Okay, so then only we need to subside it for the time being. We want to come out of the emotional turmoils and we want to control our emotions. Then only we practice this kind of opshamic power. When we have already come out of these karmic baggages, then this bhav will not end. Okay, in that state. And next is Kshayokashmik. So that also depends on the partial subsidence and partial elimination of the karmas. And when somebody destroys the karmas forever and complete sense, then this bhav doesn't work for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. This state will not work for him. Yes.
So to explain the bhav, did we go through the details of charam and acharam? Is that the reason why we initially did how the parmanu and the skand and what is acharam in the middle and what is charam? Was that the reason why we went into that detail?
As I think what you are asking is that what is the importance of discussion of charam and acharam of this
Yeah.
etc. Yes. Yeah, see, Mahavir or Bhagwan Mahavir or any such kind of what scholarly saints who has written this, especially this particular text, they are discussing about the all realities, what kind of picture, what kind of structures they are having. So they are discussing about non-living entities also and living entities also. So what applies in the case of living and what applies to the non-living entities.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were philosophizing everything, you know.
Yeah, it does make sense. You see, when you look into the detail, how it's explained and how then the endless or the middle bit comes in.
Yes, you can see here that we can say that the same structure nowadays we are finding that scientists are doing experiments and they are bringing some different theories in different times, changing all the times. So we are suppose the atom is there in one space point and there is also one aggregate which is consisting of infinite number of atoms that is also located in the same space point. One may see that, oh, it is just an atom. Okay, other may found that, oh, no, may find that it is not. It is splitting, so it is consisting of so many other atoms.
Yes.
So, but the third person can see that the same, both are looking in the same structure. So one is splitted and other one is not splitted. So what is the real shape or structure of the atom or any aggregate like that? So it depends that the atom may be in the same space point and the aggregate may also be in the same space point, the same size of the atom.
Yeah.
Until and unless you analyze all the different qualities of that particular material entity, you cannot fix or you cannot decide that whether it is splittable or non-splittable, whether it is a real atom, whether it is an aggregate.
Yeah, because the number of space points in the are innumerable, isn't it? They are not infinite.
Yeah, they are not infinite.
Number of space points in the universe are innumerable.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct. So it depends that how much matter is in the space, and if that matter is infinite in amount, it must accommodate itself into the same limited space.
Space point.
Yeah. So there may be so many aggregates which are also located in the same space point where all infinite number of atoms are located. Okay.
Yes.
So one atom is located.
Great.
So, yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, Bindisha, you can ask.
Saraji, just now you said that there's infinite number of atoms in that space point.
Yes.
Although it's innumerable space.
Yes.
So I just do not understand, like, infinite number of atoms in that innumerable, like if the space is innumerable, then surely it has to be finite.
The space is finite, all, especially the cosmic space. Okay, the cosmos is having finite space, but the matter is infinitely infinite in number or in amount. Okay, but all the matter is accommodated in this finite space because of the contraction, unlimited contraction power of the matter. Matter can reduce itself to tiny size. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have another question. You know, in one of your slides,
Yes.
it said Goyam Parmanu Pogale no Charime no Acharim. What Niyam Avatave? What can you please explain the English translation of that?
Okay. So in this particular, I have to open my slide so that everybody can see that. Okay. Sorry. Is it visible to all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you, sorry.
This one.
Goyam Parmanu Poggale no charime, no acharime, Niyama Abattavve, says Bhanga Padi says Sayabba. So here Mahavir is saying that the atom is not having any kind of ending. It means it is dimensionless. So you cannot indicate that this is the end of this structure of atom, or this is the middle part. Acharime means the middle part. Okay. So there is no end, no middle part in the atom. It is niyama avattavve. Means you cannot explain this structure. Okay. Says Bhanga Padise Yavva. And other combinations and permutations which have been shown in the case of other entities, they do not apply to the atom. That is the meaning.
Okay.
Is it?
But then you say it does not, you know, what applies to the other entities does not apply to the atom, but then the other entities are made up of atoms anyway, so they have those qualities.
Yes.
So then they would apply to the atom.
No. See, what something emerges in the combination. For suppose you are mixing sugar with milk, then it gives a very different taste, which taste is not found in isolated milk and in isolated sugar. Okay, that is the mixed form and or mixed quality which are emerging after combination of these two things. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So that is emergent qualities. They are not found, they are not, they cannot be shown or explained in the original form.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Yeah, in the structure is apply for physical and non-physical, you are saying. Structure is applicable for physical, okay. Non-physical, how it is?
Good. Very good question. But the non-physical, suppose the cosmic space, suppose you are thinking, okay. So cosmic space is also non-physical, but it has some finite shape. And this finite shape is because of the dharmastika and adharmastika, which are again non-physical. Clear? The soul is also having some structure in the sense you can say that whenever we liberate from any physical body, a human body, which is last one, and it remains in the shape of 2/3 of that body in liberation, in liberated state. So it means the soul is also having some kind of shape. That shape cannot be explained in the way, but we can explain that it looks like the human body in the liberated state, but in height or in width or length, you can say just it is of 2/3 of the last human body.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
That means the non-physical depends on physical.
It is not necessary. It is not necessary. In the case of liberated souls, you can say that one. Okay. But as I have explained, the cosmic space, is it? It is limited because of the medium of motion and medium of rest. They are also again of what we say non-physical, and the medium of motion and the medium of rest. They are also coextensive of cosmic space, but their shape is not dependent on any other physical entity. No, they are having that kind of shape.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Correct. One question was last: how is human body both covered and uncovered? Okay, that I have said already. We finished chapter 9 so far. So are we continuing with chapter 10? Yeah, it is the 10th chapter which I have discussed. And explain parinamic bhav in context of non-living. Okay, so parinamic bhav means the natural changes which are going on in the non-living objects also. Okay, so everything is changing with its time, and it is non-living. That is parinamic bhav. Okay, why it is non-living? It is not because of some karmas. It is not because of some some interference or intervention of human being. It is non-living by nature. So all things are non-living. They are having different properties of as a non-living entity. For example, the matter is having a touch, smell, or what we say, color. So all these things are natural and innate or fundamental to non-living objects. Similarly, dharmastika hai, or space are having their own qualities or properties. So they are innate or natural or fundamental, and not given by any karmas or by any power. So all these non-living entities are non-living because of the parinamic bhav, and they are having so many qualities which are also innate or given or specific to them, and they are also parinamic. Okay. Yes. Any other?
Samiji, just one question. When we have opshamic bhav,
Yes.
we do not know ourselves. It's only like when you control your passions that you will have opshamic bhav. Is it?
You can see whenever you are not you are not acting in the way. Is
Yeah.
it? You are not acting in the way. So we have 25 types of emotions. Okay.
Yes.
All the times we are not using or we are not acting according to them, but they are inside. No,
Yes.
they are in subsided form because of some other legal pressure or the pressure of the workplace that you cannot express your anger or other emotions. Then they are in subsided state for the time being till the external control is there. As soon as you get liberty, you can express those things. No.
And in Shayopshamik, then we wouldn't know what is getting shy then, would we? What is going, okay, Upsham we understand, but what is shy?
Kshaik means when you eliminate the karma, particularly karma. Suppose if you have conquered completely the diluting karma or eliminated this diluting karma, then you would not have any kind of anger, ego, deceit, greed, etc. At any cost, in whatever situations there may be in front of you, but you will not get angry. So all the thinkers, what happened when they subsided and they eliminated these kind of karmas? People come to them. Sometimes they abuse them. Or sometimes they do some misbehavior with them. Instead of that, they don't react because they have come out of that kind of emotions.
So in our case, when we have Shayopshamik bhav,
Yes.
so when the shy happens in us, we would really not be able to know that this is shy. It's only when your patience and everything develops, then you know that you are getting there, isn't it? Is that what would happen? When you be an equanimous bow,
Hmm.
then you know that sha is happening, elimination is happening.
It is not necessary that this is very higher stage, no, of our consciousness. When you reaches to that stage, you reach that state, automatically you come to know that you are now in this state.
So you will
That
feel
is,
the change.
yes, this is a higher state of our consciousness. And when we reach to that state, automatically we become clear that, okay, now I'm free of these things.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. पृथ्वीकाय आदि जीव कभी दो तरह की ब्रीदिंग न होती है क्या? पृथ्वीकाय आदि जीव की भी दो तरह की ब्रीदिंग होती है क्या? इंटरनल एंड एक्सटर्नल. Yes, all the living beings are taking both types of breath, internal and external, because the cells are also there, no? So each cell is also breathing, or they may also have lungs in whatever shape their body may be. So all the living beings are bound to take both types of breathings, okay, internal and external one. Clear?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Each cell is breathing. The whole body is breathing. Each cell is breathing. So that is internal breathing which is going on. Clear? Okay. So I think we have to stop here. Thank you all.